You might think that walking is always a safe and healthy habit, but for some seniors, it actually causes more harm than good. That may sound surprising, especially when so many doctors recommend daily walks to stay active and maintain mobility. And in most cases, walking really is a fantastic habit. But not always. There are certain situations, specific health conditions, recovery stages, and hidden risks, where walking too much or walking the wrong way can make things worse instead of better. This isn't fear-mongering. It's simply about understanding when to move forward and when to pause. Listen to your body and adjust your routine. The truth is, the same walk that helps one person feel alive might leave someone else dizzy, sore, or even at risk of falling. And no one's talking about it, not because they don't care, but because they assume walking is harmless. But as we age, everything changes. Blood pressure, joint strength, balance, stamina. What worked at 50 might not work the same way at 75. That's why today we're going to walk through 5 types of people, real, everyday seniors, who may need to take fewer walks right now, or at least walk differently. Each one represents a common but often overlooked health reality. If you've been feeling more tired after your usual walks, or dealing with new pains, or just wondering whether something feels off, this video is especially for you. And if you've never considered walking might need to be personalized, not just prescribed, then what you hear today might just change how you approach movement from this point forward. Stick with us until the end. We saved the most surprising one for last. Now let's get started. Number 1, seniors with unstable blood pressure. It's easy to assume that if your legs work and your heart's beating, you're fine to walk. But for seniors living with unstable blood pressure, whether it spikes suddenly or drops without warning, a simple walk can quietly turn into a serious risk. That's because when blood pressure isn't well regulated, walking can place stress on the cardiovascular system in ways that aren't always obvious in the moment. You might feel lightheaded. You might notice your vision blurring just for a second, or you might not notice anything at all until you find yourself sitting on a curb or catching your breath against a wall, wondering what just happened. What makes this even trickier is that unstable blood pressure often hides behind daily routines. Maybe you've had a few dizzy spells and brushed them off as nothing, or you felt unusually tired halfway through your usual route and figured you just didn't sleep well. But for those with blood pressure fluctuations, especially those taking medications like diuretics or beta blockers, these small signs could be the body's early warnings that something's out of balance. And the last thing you want is for that imbalance to show itself during a long walk, when no one's around to help. Let me tell you about Harold, a 79-year-old retiree who took the same walk every morning for 15 years. Rain or shine, same path, same pace. But one day, halfway through his usual loop, he felt faint and had to sit down on the sidewalk. A neighbor found him and helped him home. It turned out Harold's blood pressure had dropped sharply that morning because of a change in medication, and the exertion of walking pushed his body past a safe limit. From that point on, he began checking his blood pressure before his walks, adjusted his routes based on how he felt, and even added seated exercises on days when he wasn't stable. The goal isn't to stop moving. The goal is to move with awareness, to understand that your body isn't working against you, it's trying to protect you. If you've noticed your heart racing faster than usual, or your steps feeling less steady, it's worth having a conversation with your doctor. They may suggest walking indoors, choosing flatter terrain, or even walking with a friend. These adjustments don't mean you're getting weaker. They mean you're getting wiser. Number 2, seniors with advanced joint degeneration. Not all pain is a sign to stop, but some pain is a very clear message that your body needs something different. For seniors living with advanced joint degeneration, particularly in the knees, hips, or lower back, walking long distances or on hard surfaces can do more damage than good. It's a bit like driving a car with worn-out tires over rough roads every day. You might keep going, but over time, you're grinding away at the very parts that are trying to keep you upright. Joint cartilage doesn't regenerate easily, and when it wears thin, every step becomes a conversation between bone and nerve endings. You might think, well, movement is better than stiffness, and that's true. But not all movement is created equal. If your joints are already inflamed, if there's bone-on-bone contact, or if the cushioning around your knees has eroded, a 30-minute walk could inflame the area even further, leading to swelling, stiffness, or even falls. And sadly, too many people think this is just part of aging. They believe they have to power through the discomfort, or worse, they feel guilty for needing a break. But the reality is, when your joints are compromised, your body isn't asking you to stop. It's asking you to shift. Let me share the story of Martha, an 82-year-old widow who used to walk 3 miles every afternoon around her neighborhood. She prided herself on staying active, and folks admired her consistency. But behind closed doors, Martha was icing her knees every evening and waking up stiff every morning. She assumed that pushing through was the brave thing to do until her doctor showed her x-rays, revealing severe osteoarthritis in both knees. From that day on, she switched to shorter walks on cushioned indoor tracks, added water aerobics to her routine, and wore joint-supportive shoes that changed everything. Within weeks, her pain decreased. Within months, she was sleeping better and smiling more. She didn't stop moving, she just started moving smarter. It's important to understand that arthritis and joint wear aren't signs that you're broken. They're signs that your body has carried you a long way and now needs a little more care. If walking leaves you aching for hours afterward, or if you feel grinding, locking, or burning sensations in your joints, that's your body waving a flag, and it's okay to respond. There are so many low-impact alternatives: cycling, swimming, chair yoga, stretching, that keep your joints happy without wearing them down. Walking should bring life to your steps, not take life out of them. If that's not your experience right now, there's no shame in making a change. Longevity isn't just about moving forward. It's about knowing when to ease up, when to listen in, and when to walk a little differently than you used to. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, seniors recovering from recent surgery. There's a kind of impatience that comes after surgery, not out of recklessness, but out of hope. You want to return to normal. You want to get back to your routine, to your independence, to your strength. And for many seniors, that means going back to walking. But when your body is still healing, especially after operations involving the spine, knees, hips, or even abdominal organs, jumping back into your old walking habits too soon can quietly reverse your recovery. What feels like a slow stroll to your mind might feel like a hammer to your healing tissues. Post-surgical recovery is not just about scars closing. It's about ligaments, muscles, and nerves relearning their function. And if you walk before your core strength has returned, before your balance has stabilized, or before inflammation has settled, your body will absorb that strain somewhere, and it often chooses the weakest point. That's why so many older adults who resume walking too quickly after surgery end up back in the hospital with pain, fatigue, or complications that were entirely avoidable. The hardest part, they were trying to do the right thing. They thought movement meant progress, but in truth, they needed rest, guidance, and gradual re-entry. Let me introduce you to Frank, a 74-year-old who underwent lower back surgery after years of discomfort. His surgeon told him to take it easy for a few weeks. But Frank, being the stubborn and well-meaning man he was, didn't want to lose the walking habit he'd built. So he started walking short distances within days of coming home. At first, he felt fine, but by the second week, he noticed shooting pain down his leg and a sense of instability he hadn't felt before the operation. His doctor later explained that he had strained the surrounding muscles before they had time to re-engage. What Frank thought was a noble return to form ended up delaying his full recovery by months. The body after surgery is like a house after a storm. You don't move furniture back in before checking the foundation. You take your time. You go room by room. And when doctors recommend physical therapy, they're not just trying to fill your schedule. They're giving you tools to walk again with stability, strength, and confidence. The truth is, your muscles remember, but only if you give them time to rebuild. And pushing too soon doesn't make you strong. It makes you vulnerable. If you've recently had surgery, or even if it's been a few months, don't assume your old pace is the right pace now. Ask your care team what's safe. Listen to your breath, your balance, your fatigue. Every step counts, but only if it's part of a larger plan. Healing isn't about how fast you return. It's about how well you return. And sometimes that means walking less so you can live more. Number 4, seniors with peripheral neuropathy. There's a strange kind of betrayal when your own feet stop sending the right signals to your brain. You might feel numbness, or tingling, or like your socks are bunched up when they're not. That's peripheral neuropathy, the gradual loss of nerve function in the feet and legs. And for seniors dealing with it, walking becomes a very different experience. What used to feel natural starts feeling uncertain. The ground feels uneven. The toes don't always cooperate, and balance becomes something you have to think about, not something your body does automatically. Peripheral neuropathy doesn't just make walking uncomfortable, it makes it dangerous. When your feet don't sense pressure or pain clearly, it's easy to step on something sharp and not notice. It's easy to misjudge a curb or stumble on a crack in the sidewalk. And since many seniors already have slower reflexes, a missed signal can lead to a twisted ankle, a scraped knee, or a fall that changes everything. You might try to compensate by staring down at your feet while you walk, or by taking shorter steps. But that kind of hyper-awareness can exhaust you, both physically and mentally. Let me tell you about Susan, a 70-year-old retired nurse who had lived with type 2 diabetes for decades. She always loved her evening walks, especially at sunset. But over time, she noticed a tingling in her feet that turned into full-on numbness. She stumbled twice in 1 week, nothing major, but enough to shake her confidence. Her doctor confirmed it was peripheral neuropathy and warned her that walking on uneven paths could put her at risk for serious injury. Susan didn't want to give up her walks, so she made some changes. She switched to indoor walking at her local gym, where the floors were smooth and well-lit. She added ankle-strengthening exercises. She even got shoes with extra support and a wider base. Walking stopped being risky and started feeling safe again. It's important to understand that peripheral neuropathy isn't just about the nerves. It's about how your brain and body stay connected. When that connection is weak, everything slows down: your reaction time, your balance, your instincts. And if you ignore the signs, hoping they'll go away, the risks only grow. But if you adjust, if you adapt, you can still move through life with dignity and security. If walking feels shaky, if your feet aren't giving you the feedback they used to, it's not a failure. It's a signal. A gentle tap on the shoulder reminding you to modify, not stop. Maybe that means using a cane. Maybe it means walking with a partner. Maybe it means shorter, more mindful walks. But it doesn't mean giving up. The goal is not just to walk, it's to walk without fear. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, seniors with unexplained fatigue or shortness of breath. There's tired, and then there's something else. A kind of fatigue that doesn't go away after rest. A shortness of breath that shows up too early, even during light activity. If you're a senior who's been feeling unusually winded during short walks, or if you've noticed a kind of deep exhaustion that lingers well beyond your steps, it might be time to pause and take a closer look. This isn't just about being out of shape. It could be your heart, or your lungs, or both quietly signaling that something's not right beneath the surface. Too many older adults push past these symptoms, chalking them up to age, weight, or just having a bad day. But when breath becomes shallow, when your chest feels tight, or when your pulse races after a simple stroll, your body isn't being dramatic, it's asking for help. Unexplained fatigue or breathlessness during walking can be early signs of heart failure, atrial fibrillation, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or even silent anemia. And the trouble is, these symptoms don't always show up at the doctor's office. They appear when you're out in the real world, doing things like walking to the mailbox or around the grocery store. Let's talk about George, an 81-year-old man who always considered himself active. For years, he walked the perimeter of his local park every morning. But slowly, he began needing to stop halfway. Then he needed to sit down. Then he stopped going altogether. At first, he thought he just needed to push through. But after a routine checkup and a few follow-up tests, his doctor discovered he had undiagnosed heart valve disease. It wasn't severe yet, but it would have been had George not paid attention to those early signs. With treatment, dietary adjustments, and a modified walking plan, he not only regained his stamina, he regained his confidence. What your body tells you during a walk is worth listening to. If your chest feels tight, if your breath shortens quickly, if your legs feel like lead, don't ignore it. These aren't signs of laziness. They're signs of something deeper. And pretending they're not there won't make them go away. But asking your doctor about them just might catch a problem early, before it grows into something larger. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest. And it's more than okay to say, something doesn't feel right. Because the sooner you speak up, the sooner you get to walk with peace of mind again. Not in fear, not in confusion, but with trust in your body and the support it needs. Final thoughts. Walking is one of the most natural things we do. It's how we explore the world, stay active, clear our minds. For many seniors, it's a lifeline, a way to stay connected to their community, to their routine, and to a sense of independence. But just because walking is simple doesn't mean it's always safe. And just because it's usually helpful doesn't mean it's right for everyone all the time. What we've shared today isn't meant to scare you away from movement. It's meant to invite you into a deeper kind of care, a care that listens, a care that adapts, a care that honors where you are right now, not where you used to be. Maybe you saw yourself in one of these 5 people, or maybe you saw someone you love. If that's the case, don't jump to conclusions, but don't ignore the signs either. Talk to a healthcare provider who understands your history. Take the time to explore safer ways to stay active, ones that protect your joints, support your heart, and respect your healing. Movement is important, but thoughtful movement, that's how we live longer, stronger, and with fewer setbacks. And remember, adjusting your walking habits isn't giving up. It's growing up. It's wisdom in action. It's what happens when we stop comparing ourselves to our past and start paying attention to what our present is trying to say. Whether you're recovering from surgery, managing a chronic condition, or just feeling off lately, know this: there's no shame in stepping back, reassessing, and walking a new path. Sometimes fewer steps mean more life. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.